What did you do for yourself today? This might be the simplest yet deepest question anyone has ever asked you. Because in life, we often do so much for others. We think about them, catch up with them, and try to please them. But when do we truly turn inward and look at ourselves? You woke up this morning, brushed your teeth, maybe grab your coffee, or perhaps you had to rush out the door, plugged in your headphones. A day full of tasks, people, conversations, goals. But there's a voice inside you, constantly whispering, "I'm here, but where are you?" This video isn't here to teach you something. It's here to help you hear that voice. I won't sell you anything. I won't assign you a role. I just want to stand with you. No conditions, no expectations. Because these 15 minutes you're about to give yourself, they might just bring you back to you. Maybe for the first time, you'll look in the mirror and truly love what you see. Maybe for once, you'll care about yourself, not everyone else. Maybe being alone won't feel scary. Maybe you'll finally say, "I have the right to." And this will only be the beginning. By the end of this video, I believe you'll feel just a little different than you do now. Because you are human, and you have the potential to be one of the most precious beings on this earth. But only if you listen to that inner self and give it the care it deserves. And trust me, in time, you'll feel more real, more whole, more like yourself. We are living in an era where we are most alienated from ourselves. We begin our day with our phones, move on with emails, and end by calculating what others think about us. But you, when was the last time you truly thought only about yourself? When did you last do something just because you felt like it? When was the last time you said, "This moment belongs only to me"? Your mind might constantly be racing. You must succeed, look strong, be liked. But do you like yourself? There's a child within you. When was the last time you listened to them? That child has been trying to reach you for years, wanting to be seen by your adult self. But you kept postponing, "I'll deal with it later. I have work right now. Let me achieve this first, then I'll allow myself to be happy." But that later never came, did it? And that child waited, got hurt, was forgotten, but never disappeared. Because that child is your essence, your true inner self. And the more we turn our backs on that self each day, the more darkness grows within us. No matter how much we shine outwardly, the system that pulls us away from ourselves works subtly. It keeps us visibly busy, while silently draining us inside. You end up living a life that isn't yours, playing a role that doesn't resemble you. Society always told you that you had to be something. Successful, productive, in control, strong. But no one ever told you this. You're worthy just as you are. And here's a fact. Yes, to continue in life we need to work, to create, to contribute. But when you start listening to yourself, that inspiration and energy will rise on its own. When you give yourself the value you deserve, what you produce will naturally speak with a sense of completeness and inner richness, not lack. No one praised you for leaning against a tree and just breathing. No one applauded you when you said, "Today I just stayed quiet and rested." But in that moment, something was growing inside your silence. You were giving yourself space, and no one ever told you how sacred that was. We're always supposed to be fast, right? Always productive, always strong, always resilient. But a human being is not just a machine of endurance. Sometimes we're soft, sometimes fragile, sometimes we just need to be held. And know this, the system tries to consume you, but you can reject the game because you are not a machine. You carry a soul, a depth, a story, a past, a hope, and that alone makes you infinitely valuable. You may have been made to forget, but your worth has never been defined by the outside world. That quiet, deep voice within you has always whispered the truth about who you are. Maybe it's time to start hearing it again. Now I'll ask you to do something small. Close your eyes and just think about today. What did you really feel? Were you happy? Anxious? Hurt? Numb? Or maybe you didn't feel anything clearly. Maybe the day just passed by, and you floated through it. That's the moment you begin to lose touch with your emotions. Unfinished feelings start to pile up. The inability to grieve piles up. The inability to celebrate piles up. Shame, anger, jealousy. They all quietly pile up inside. Then what happens? One day you hear a song and start crying, or someone says something small and you break down, because the you inside has been trying to reach you for so long. Every time you suppress your emotions, you lose a piece of your truth. But when you let them rise, you're not becoming fragile, you're becoming free. Because these emotions aren't evil or impure. They came to your heart for a reason. They want to tell you something. Vulnerability isn't weakness, it's being human. And someone aware of their emotions can find direction and can begin to truly know themselves. Reconnecting with yourself doesn't begin with grand gestures. It begins with small acts of courage. Maybe today, just sit in silence for 5 minutes. Take a walk. Listen to music. Write your thoughts down. Pray. Draw something from within, or give time to a hobby you enjoy. You might think, is it really that simple? Yes, it's really that simple. But its impact runs deep, because in that moment, you're telling yourself, I'm here with you. Think about it. You're spending a lifetime with that you. Wouldn't it be peaceful to build a good relationship with them? To enjoy moments with them? To make memories together? You begin to develop an inner sense of existence that's independent of external approval. Each day, one step. Each day, one breath. Each day, a tiny gift to yourself. These are what bring you back to you. They help you reconnect with that forgotten inner self. And that bond is deeper and safer than any relationship you'll ever have. Sometimes, returning to yourself means doing something you loved as a child. Flipping through an old notebook, rereading something you once wrote, remembering a dream you let go of. These moments reintroduce you to the real you. And how do you treat yourself? When you make a mistake, what do you say? Idiot. You always do this. Imagine saying those things to a child who made a mistake. What would that child do? They'd withdraw. They'd fear. They'd lose confidence. But we do this to our inner child every day. We blame them. We shame them. We suppress them. Yet maybe they just needed a hug. Maybe they just wanted to be understood, to be heard, to be seen. That's what self-compassion really means. Approaching yourself gently, saying, it's okay. You'll heal when you're hurt. Not being ashamed of yourself when you're angry or embarrassed. Because we are human because of our imperfections, not despite them. And you are valuable exactly as you are. Your pain, your failures, your flaws don't diminish you. On the contrary, they make you real. And realness begins when you honestly acknowledge your own fragilities. True healing only happens through deep self-compassion. So today, make a decision. Do something small just for yourself. Not to impress anyone, not to prove anything. Just to hear yourself, to feel something, to say, I'm here. That one moment might just open a space to lighten the whole day's weight. It might be a breath, a prayer, brewing a cup of tea, writing a few lines, taking a walk in the park, or simply closing your eyes and whispering, I am here. And then gently ask yourself, what did I do for myself today? Maybe at first, there's no answer. But soon you'll feel a warmth in your heart. That is your center. That is your return home. That is your inner refuge. And every time you return there, you become a little more you. Even dancing to the music you listened to today counts. Saying no to someone counts. Sleeping in a little longer counts. Giving yourself permission counts. All these may seem like small acts, but they start an inner revolution. This video didn't offer you a solution from the outside. It didn't hand you a ready-made prescription. Because what you truly need has always been inside you. You just needed to remember. Maybe you still don't have an answer to, what did I do for myself today? But even watching this video is a step. Listening to yourself, feeling, noticing. That's all a step. And remember, every journey begins with a single step. This could be your first one. This channel is an invitation to your inner path. It's a quiet road, sometimes a lonely one, but always a true one. And do you know what the most valuable thing on this path is? It is you. Welcome. Now take a deep breath, close your eyes, ask your heart, What did you do for yourself today?